Pittsburgh Penguins versus New York Rangers. The Pittsburgh Penguins skate in at 30-15-2, second in the Metropolitan Division with 72 points. The New York Rangers, 22-29-7, sitting at 51 points and fighting to stay relevant. This is not just another divisional game, it's leverage versus desperation. Pittsburgh is chasing positioning. New York is chasing stability. The Penguins have taken 2 of the first 3 in the season series, and tonight the Rangers try to even the tone on home ice. Pittsburgh brings the sharper profile. They're scoring 3.42 goals per game while allowing 2.86. New York averages 2.60 goals and gives up 3.16. That gap is real. The Penguins' power play clicks at 28%, elite efficiency, while the Rangers counter at 22%. But here's the tension point. Pittsburgh's penalty kill stands at 84.5%. New York's sits at 79.9%. Special teams lean black and gold. Sidney Crosby is still the engine. 59 points, 27 goals, 32 assists. He leads the club in goals, points, and penalty minutes. Evgeny Malkin has 33 assists. Brian Rust carries a +22 rating, anchoring a strong two-way presence. On the back end, Erik Karlsson logs over 23 minutes a night, driving possession and transition. Across the ice, Artemi Panarin fuels New York with 57 points and 38 assists. Mika Zibanejad leads the Rangers with 23 goals. Vincent Trocheck adds 37 points, but the plus-minus tells a harsher story. Zibanejad sits at -23. The Rangers have talent, but consistency has wavered. In net, Pittsburgh's edge sharpens. Tristan Jarry owns a 19-12-5 record with a 2.79 goals against average and a .900 save percentage. Alex Nedeljkovic has also contributed. For New York, Igor Shesterkin carries a .912 save percentage and a 2.47 goals against mark. Strong numbers behind an inconsistent defensive structure. Jonathan Quick has struggled with a 3.10 GAA. If Shesterkin is sharp, the Rangers breathe. If he's not, it tilts fast. Momentum favors Pittsburgh. Over their last 5, the Penguins went 3-1-1, including wins over New Jersey, Buffalo, and Ottawa, scoring 5 goals twice in that stretch. Even in a 4-3 overtime loss to the Islanders, the offense hummed. They're attacking in waves. The Rangers are 2-2-1 in their last 5. They beat Philadelphia 2-0 and edged the Islanders 2-1, but dropped a 6-5 shootout to Pittsburgh and fell 6-5 to Vancouver. Defense has cracked under pressure. Close games are slipping. This matchup hinges on tempo and discipline. Pittsburgh pushes pace through the neutral zone, activates defensemen, and punishes mistakes with a lethal power play. New York must slow it down, establish forecheck pressure, and protect the slot. If Panarin and Zibanejad control puck possession and force Pittsburgh into penalty trouble, this becomes a chess match. If Crosby dictates rhythm early, it becomes a track meet. After analyzing both teams, my first pick for this match is Pittsburgh Penguins winner. Pittsburgh's offensive depth and special teams precision create the separation. The Rangers will compete. Shesterkin will keep it tight early. But over 60 minutes, the Penguins' structure, power play, and scoring balance prove decisive. My second pick for this match is total under 6.5, Boston Bruins versus Philadelphia Flyers. The Boston Bruins arrive at 33-25, riding the thick of the Atlantic Division race with 71 points. Across the ice, the Philadelphia Flyers sit at 26-21-11, holding 63 points in the Metropolitan Division and battling to solidify their postseason footing. This isn't just another February game, it's leverage. Boston is chasing positioning in a loaded Atlantic, while Philadelphia is defending home ice at Wells Fargo Center and trying to close the gap in a tight Metro pack. Boston has owned stretches of this matchup, including a recent 6-3 decision in the season series. But momentum is fragile this time of year. The Bruins are pushing upward. The Flyers are digging in. The numbers frame a compelling contrast. Boston averages 3.40 goals per game, backed by 27.1 shots a night, and they've stacked 197 goals through 58 contests. David Pastrnak drives the engine, 72 points, 22 goals, 50 assists, with 185 shots and a commanding offensive presence. Morgan Geekie adds 33 goals, finishing at a blistering 25.4% shooting clip. Charlie McAvoy logs over 24 minutes a night from the blue line, while Nikita Zadorov brings bite, 123 penalty minutes and a physical edge. Philadelphia counters with structure. They score 2.86 goals per game, but have 166 total goals and a more balanced attack. Travis Konechny leads with 55 points and 22 goals. Owen Tippett has 19 goals, and Matvei Michkov's 31 assists show playmaking touch. Noah Cates sits at plus 15, a steady two-way anchor. The Flyers' power play operates at 16.1%, while Boston's clicks at 26.5%. That's a glaring edge. The Bruins also kill penalties at 76.4%. Philadelphia slightly better at 79.5%. Then there's the crease. Jeremy Swayman stands at 22-12-3 with a 2.92 goals against average and a .903 save percentage. Joonas Korpisalo has been sharper statistically. 2.11 GAA and .896 save percentage over 11 wins. For Philadelphia, Ivan Fedotov owns a 2.46 GAA and .905 save percentage, while Samuel Ersson has 9 wins with a 3.44 GAA. If Fedotov gets the nod, the Flyers gain steadiness. If it's Swayman versus Fedotov, we're watching composure versus composure. Recent form sharpens the tension. Boston is 3-2 in its last 5. Wins over Columbus, Tampa Bay, and Nashville, scoring 4 goals in each victory. But they stumbled in a 5-4 loss to Florida and a tight 6-5 setback against Pittsburgh. Defensive lapses have crept in. Philadelphia is also 3-2 in its last 5. They edged the Rangers 3-2 in overtime and handled Washington 3-1, but a 4-2 loss to Winnipeg and a narrow 2-1 defeat against Ottawa show offensive inconsistency. Close games define them. They grind, they rarely disappear. This matchup hinges on tempo and special teams. Boston's power play is lethal, 45 goals with the man advantage. If the Flyers take penalties, Pastrnak will make them pay. Conversely, if Philadelphia slows the neutral zone, forces dump-ins, and leans on Cates and their checking lines, they can drag this into a 1-goal trench fight. Watch the board battles. Zadorov and McAvoy against Konechny and Tippett along the walls. Watch third-period legs. Boston's offensive depth can overwhelm late, but Philadelphia's plus-minus leaders suggest they close games responsibly. The X factor? Morgan Geekie's finishing touch against a Flyers defense that has allowed 165 goals. One clean look can flip momentum. After analyzing both teams, my first pick for this match is Philadelphia Flyers winner. Boston's power play precision and scoring depth give them the edge in a tight, emotionally charged divisional clash. The Flyers will push. They'll make it heavy. But the Bruins' offensive firepower and timely execution tilt the ice just enough before the final horn. My second pick for this match is total under 5.5. Chicago Blackhawks versus Colorado Avalanche. The Chicago Blackhawks skate in at 22-27-9, sitting near the bottom of the Central Division, while the Colorado Avalanche stand tall at 38-10-9, firmly planted near the top. Colorado already leads the season series 1-0 and owns the edge in the standings with 85 points compared to Chicago's 53. This isn't just another February game, it's a measuring stick. The Avalanche are protecting home ice and momentum. The Blackhawks are fighting to prove they can hang with the division's elite. Colorado's profile screams contender. Chicago's reads like a team still searching for consistency. The tale of the tape favors the home side. Chicago averages 2.64 goals per game while surrendering 3.17. Colorado pours in 3.81 goals per contest and allows just 2.46. That's a decisive gap. The Avalanche power play operates at 28%, backed by an 83.9% penalty kill. Chicago counters with a respectable 19.2% power play and an even stronger 85.2% penalty kill. But they simply don't generate enough offense at even strength to tilt the ice consistently. Individually, Connor Bedard drives Chicago with 54 points, 24 goals, and 30 assists. Tyler Bertuzzi leads the club with 26 goals, and Bedard's 148 shots show he's not shy. But the plus-minus numbers tell a harder truth. Several key forwards sit in the negative, reflecting defensive struggles. Colorado, it starts and ends with Nathan MacKinnon. 95 points, 40 goals, 55 assists, a plus 48 rating. He dictates pace and punishes mistakes. Martin Nikas adds 66 points, and Kale Makar anchors the blue line with 58 points and a plus 27 while logging heavy minutes. This is layered firepower, and it comes in waves. Recent form only sharpens the contrast. Chicago has alternated wins and losses over its last 5, dropping games 4-2 and 4-0, while grabbing a 6-3 victory in between. The offense flashes, then fades. Colorado has won 4 of its last 5, including decisive 4-2 and 5-0 performances. When the Avalanche strike first, they bury teams. When they trail, they respond quickly. That's the mark of a club in rhythm. Now, the crease. Chicago leans on Peter Mrazek's 16 wins, but his 3.63 goals against average and .907 save percentage leave little margin for error. Arvid Soderblom owns a stronger .914 save percentage and 2.89 GAA, yet the win total isn't there. Colorado counters with Alexander Georgiev, 21 wins, a 2.29 GAA, and a .913 save percentage. And Mackenzie Blackwood at 16 wins with a sparkling .916 save percentage. The Avalanche don't just score, they protect leads. The matchup dynamic is clear. Colorado's elite attack versus Chicago's overworked defensive structure. If MacKinnon's line establishes the forecheck early, Chicago's blue line could spend long stretches under siege. The Blackhawks must slow the neutral zone, limit turnovers, and lean heavily on special teams. Their penalty kill is strong, but Colorado's power play is stronger. One mistake, one delay of game. That could swing it. Watch Bedard as the X factor. If he controls possession and forces Colorado's defense to pivot, Chicago has a puncher's chance. But if Makar activates from the back end and Colorado's depth lines roll 4 strong units, the ice will tilt fast. This feels like a tempo game. Colorado pushes pace, attacks in layers, and thrives at Ball Arena. Chicago needs structure, patience, and a near-perfect goaltending night. After analyzing both teams, my first pick for this match is Colorado Avalanche winner. Colorado's speed and top-end skill create separation, and their goaltending steadies the final push. The Avalanche control the third period, protect home ice, and remind the division why they sit near the summit. My second pick for this match is total over 5.5, Ottawa Senators versus Toronto Maple Leafs. This is more than a February game. This is Atlantic Division tension at full boil. The Ottawa Senators roll into Scotiabank Arena at 28-22-8, sitting 6th in the division with 64 points. Across the ice, the Toronto Maple Leafs are 27-23-9, 8th in the Atlantic with 63 points. 1 point separates them. One swing shifts the standings. Toronto leads the season series 1-0 after a 7-5 track meet in the opener, and they're trying to snap a home skid. Ottawa, they're hunting separation. The numbers say this is razor thin. Ottawa has scored 189 goals and allowed 186. Toronto sits at 194 and 202 against. One team slightly steadier defensively, the other explosive but vulnerable. That's the edge and the risk. Ottawa's offense runs through Tim Stützle. 62 points in 58 games, 28 goals, 34 assists. He's the engine. Drake Batherson adds 49 points, and Jake Sanderson quarterbacks the blue line with 36 assists and a team-best 25 minutes and 2 seconds average ice time. Claude Giroux brings the veteran balance with a plus 15 rating. The Senators average 3.26 goals per game, fire 28.5 shots a night, and convert at 23.4% on the power play. Efficient, clinical. Toronto counters with star power. William Nylander leads with 54 points in just 42 games. Elite production. Austin Matthews has 26 goals and 50 points in 53 games. Still the focal point of every defensive scheme. John Tavares has 49 points and Matthew Knies adds 48. The Leafs average 3.22 goals per game, slightly behind Ottawa, and their power play clicks at 19.6%. Not dominant, but dangerous. Defensively, Ottawa allows 3.21 goals per game. Toronto gives up 3.42. That's the pressure point. The Senators' penalty kill sits at 72.8%, Toronto's at 63.8%. Special teams could tilt this entire matchup. In net, the duel is compelling. Linus Ullmark anchors Ottawa with a 16.86 record, a 2.83 goals against average, and a .884 save percentage. Joonas Korpisalo has been sharp in limited action at .331 with a .870 mark. Toronto leans on Joseph Woll, 13.84, with a 2.92 GAA and a strong .910 save percentage. Anthony Stolarz backs him at 7.81, 3.60 GAA, .882 save percentage. Woll has been the steadier presence, and that matters in tight divisional games. Momentum? Ottawa is grinding. In their last 5, a 2-1 overtime win over Detroit, a 2-1 overtime win in Philadelphia, but losses to Carolina, 4-3, Pittsburgh, 3-2, and a 4-1 setback against New Jersey. Close games, tight margins. They're competing, but not separating. Toronto is surging offensively. A 5-1 win over Florida, a 5-2 win over Edmonton, a 4-2 victory against Calgary. Even in losses to Tampa Bay, 4-2, and Vancouver, 3-2, they generated chances. The Leafs are pushing pace. The question is whether they can defend it. This game will hinge on layers. Can Ottawa's structured attack penetrate Toronto's top-heavy forward group before the Leafs establish rhythm? Can Matthews and Nylander exploit a Senators' penalty kill hovering below 73%? Watch the neutral zone, Sanderson versus Matthews in transition. Watch face-offs late. Watch third-period discipline. The X factor is William Nylander, 54 points in 42 games. When he dictates tempo, Toronto hums. But if Stützle controls possession and forces Toronto to defend extended cycles, the Leafs' defensive gaps reappear. After analyzing both teams, my first pick for this match is Ottawa Senators winner. Toronto's top-end talent and Woll's steadiness at home tip the scale. Ottawa will generate chances, they always do, but the Leafs' offensive surge and urgency in the standings give them the final push. 1 point separation becomes 3. Puck drops. The Atlantic Titans, and this one feels like it goes to the wire. My second pick for this match is total under 6.5. Vancouver Canucks versus Seattle Kraken. The Pacific Division spotlight burns bright in Seattle. The Vancouver Canucks enter at 18 wins, 33 losses, and 7 ties, 7th in the division with 43 points, dragging a 4-game losing streak into Climate Pledge Arena. Across the ice, the Seattle Kraken stand 27-22-9, 5th in the Pacific with 63 points and holding steady in the Western Conference chase. This is desperation versus opportunity. Vancouver is trying to halt a slide that's defining its season. Seattle is protecting home ice and pushing upward. The stakes are simple. One team needs traction, the other demands separation. Seattle has already proven it can trade punches in this season series. splitting tight contests and winning a 4-3 battle before dropping a 3-2 decision. There's no mystery here. These teams know each other's tendencies. Now it's about execution. The numbers sketch two different identities. Vancouver averages 2.53 goals per game, but allows 3.64, a negative gap that's followed them all year. Their power play clicks at 18.1%, while the penalty kill struggles at 71.1%. Seattle counters with 2.81 goals per game and allows 2.93. Their power play runs at 22.0%, and the penalty kill stands firm at 71.4%. Slight defensive edge, slight offensive edge. Clear special teams edge to the Kraken. Individually, the Canucks lean heavily on Elias Pettersson's 35 points, with 13 goals and 22 assists. Kiefer Sherwood leads them with 17 goals, and Filip Hronek quarterbacks the offense from the blue line with 27 assists. Hronek logs over 24 minutes per night, a true anchor, while Drew O'Connor carries a team-best +4 rating. But Vancouver's depth scoring has thinned, and the minus ratings across the lineup tell a tough story. Seattle's attack feels deeper and steadier. Jordan Eberle leads with 38 points and 20 goals. Matty Beniers and Chandler Stevenson sit right behind him, while Vince Dunn drives the back end with 26 assists. Ryan Lindgren's +16 jumps off the page, a stabilizer in high-leverage minutes. The Kraken have 5 players over 30 points. Balance matters in February hockey. Between the pipes, this game tightens. Vancouver's Kevin Lankinen owns 7 wins with a 3.67 goals against average and a .876 save percentage. Thatcher Demko has a 2.90 GAA and .897 save rate in limited action. Seattle's Joey Daccord carries 16 wins, a 2.84 GAA, and a .903 save percentage. Philip Grubauer posts a 2.50 GAA with a .914 save percentage. The Kraken have steadier net minding, and that steadiness has translated into standings points. Recent form sharpens the contrast. Vancouver's last 5, losses of 3-2 in overtime, 5-2, 6-2, and 3-2 in a shootout with just 1 win, a 2-0 shutout over Anaheim. They're close in games, but not closing them. Seattle has gone 3-2 in its last 5, including a 4-1 win over Dallas and a 4-2 win over Los Angeles. Even in defeat, a 5-1 loss to St. Louis and a 4-1 setback to Dallas, they've responded quickly. That's resilience. The goaltender duel feels decisive. If Daccord or Grubauer controls rebounds and manages traffic, Seattle's defensive structure should suffocate second chances. Vancouver needs Demko-level sharpness, controlled movements, quick glove, clean exits. If the Canucks chase the puck in their own zone, it tilts fast. Tactically, watch the special teams. Seattle's 22% power play against a 71% Vancouver penalty kill is a flashing red signal. Eberle and Dunn working the half wall, quick puck movement, shots through screens. That's danger. Vancouver must counter with pace through the neutral zone, letting Pettersson create off the rush rather than grinding along the boards. If the Kraken dictate tempo and keep it 5-on-5, their depth advantage grows. Face-offs, third-period stamina, and discipline will frame the final minutes. Seattle has shown it can finish. Vancouver has shown it can compete, but not always convert. After analyzing both teams, my first pick for this match is Seattle Kraken winner. Seattle's balance, steadier goaltending, and sharper power play provide the edge. Vancouver will generate moments, but over 60 minutes, the Kraken's structure and special teams execution should separate them. Under the lights in Seattle, expect control, composure, and 2 more points for the home side. My second pick for this match is total under 6.5.